a walk through town with a local guide.
Jesuit Church, first big Baroque church in Switzerland, built by the Jesuits and dedicated to St. Francis Xavier. He was a missionary in India, and the Jesuits came here and built this very beautiful church. It's beautifully made by Weserbrunner stucco masters, plasterers. The white stucco you see in the chapels, in the different chapels both sides, is still originally, and on the vault this colored one is Rococo style. Just take a first impression and we sit down somewhere in the middle. In this church, Italian and German workers have been working, so it's Italian, German. And the designs on the vault are made by painters from Tessin, which is in the south of Switzerland, called Torricelli, brothers Torricelli. And the altar picture is made by Torriani, also a Swiss painter from the south. The picture on the middle, St. Francis Xavier in the wagon, you see him carried by an elephant and tiger, so it's rather strange, an elephant in a church. The altars are dedicated to different saints, also to Ignatius. He was the founder of the Jesuit order. And this chapel is to the honor of Nikolaus von Flüe. He is a patron of our land. Okay. A man named Lucerne, he was an officer in foreign services in Italy and France. And when he came to Lucerne, back to Lucerne, he built for himself this palazzo. Because in Florence, you have been in Florence, you have seen palazzes, and he thought it would be a good thing. And so, for himself, this palazzo. Unfortunately, he died before it was finished, built. And then later on, the government gave it to the Jesuits, and they lived in here and built a gymnasium opposite of this building. This was in around 1556-7 it was built. And it's a lovely Tuscany courtyard with a dance of death cyclists on the second floor, if anyone is interested. Ever since 1804, it's a seat of the cantonal government. We have 2 chambers in Switzerland, as America also has, I think. Mm-hmm. 2 chambers, the National Council and the Council of States. And the right to vote we have from 18 years. And women only got the right to vote 20 years ago. The last canton, Switzerland is divided in 26 cantons, 3 half cantons. And there is Appenzell Innerrhodes, and the women of Appenzell only got the right 2 years ago. So, you know, men said no, men are voting, not the women. We move around the corner. Franciscans built a convent here, and this church was part of the convent. The church is a Gothic church from 1270 to 80. The old organ. Well, between 1270 and 80 the church was built, but meanwhile, over the 700 years, almost every important style epoch is in this church. And of course, it was changed, but it's, I think, a very beautiful church. You see the organ, you hear it. it's made new shortly, and all this wood carved work is from Niklaus Geisler. It was a German man from Schweinfurt. And when you see this pulpit made in 1628, it's a wonderwork, and it's a wood carved, special made from one piece.
Look at it, beautiful.
And if you see he cut the wood through this. This was one piece, so it is a fantastic work with many details. And on top the resurrection of Christ. Before people went to the war, they came to the church, prayed, and then went to the battles. And when they came home from the battles, they put the banners in this church. But with all the hundreds of years, the flags were not as nice anymore. They were put in a historical museum, and they just painted the flags on the wall. So we have them after all. So there are banners out of the Battle of Sempach, of Murten, even of Lepanto is a flag, the fourth last. And the originals you can see in the Historical Museum. This was first the St. Anton's Chapel. And you see all these from Italian masters made. Maybe you know the litany of the St. Mary's litany. They are all pictures out of this. Then later on, the 17th century, they built this Anton's Chapel. They added the St. Mary's Chapel because the praying to the St. Mary was in this time. So they added this St. Mary's Chapel and the St. Anton's Chapel. It's almost like Rome, isn't it? A little bit. It was the first Baroque in Lucerne. Late Renaissance, early Baroque. And the same people worked in the Jesuit Church. Michael Schmutzer and his workers, plasterers, they have been working in this chapel.